Macmillan Audio presents The Schmuck in My Office, How to Deal Effectively with Difficult People at Work, by Jody J. Foster, MD, MBA, with Michelle Joy, MD. Read for you by Christina Delaine, with an introduction by the author. Part 1. Meet the Schmuck.
When I was in business school, a classmate came to me with a disturbing story about his office. Some guy, we think we know who it is, he said, goes to the bathroom every day, takes a dump, and after he's done, smears his dirty toilet paper on the door of the stall. A little Z pattern. What is that? I received questions about behavior all the time in business school, though I'll admit this was an unusual one. In a class full of aspiring bankers and hedge funders, I was the psychiatrist. I became the person whom everyone came to with questions. Questions about fights between coworkers, about intolerable bosses, about relationships, and yes, about bizarre behavior. I enjoyed answering them, offering my insight about potential causes, possible solutions, interesting explanations. I looked forward to hearing what anecdotes my classmates would bring me and how my explanations and recommendations were received. As a psychiatrist, you quickly get used to witnessing all sorts of seemingly extraordinary behavior. You work in psychiatric hospitals, in emergency rooms, in clinics, on the medical floors. You grow accustomed to interacting with people who think they're immortal, with people who think the devil is after them. Your days are filled with people who try to cut themselves, hang themselves, suffocate themselves. You hear horrendous stories of abuse, sexual and physical, some beyond your wildest imagination of what a person could do or endure. I once had a patient who believed he had a bionic ear implanted by the government in order to transmit classified information about impeding intergalactic war. Another one who tried to shoot an airplane out of the sky. But believe it or not, what seems unbelievable can almost become expected. The atypical becomes typical. The horrific can seem routine. Your friends and colleagues are other psychiatrists and psychologists, and everyone has stories like this that fill their days. Already a psychiatrist when I started business school, I was suddenly surrounded by people who found even commonplace interactions compelling. They were fascinated by their coworkers, and it was fun for me to explain the various permutations of office drama. I loved seeing how bent out of shape they got about people, their bosses, their coworkers, their direct reports, even their spouses. They came to me with tales of people they called real schmucks, those they neither liked nor understood. A quick explanation from me, and they were suddenly very relieved, very grateful. I realized how little people knew about why people acted the way they did and how seemingly simple insights could be extremely effective. Sometimes people wanted to know what to do about a coworker, but at other times they seemed to want to know why the coworker acted a certain way. More than anything, I realized that just a little bit of understanding goes a long way in helping someone empathize and even deal with the schmuck in their office. Going to business school provided an avenue for me to really see what other people said and thought about their work environments. Instead of being surrounded by people who were trained in, worked in, and inundated with understanding and analyzing behavior, I was now the one and only one with that skill set. And I liked it. It was from this experience that I realized just how much I wanted to use those abilities to help others in their workplace environments. From those classroom discussions came a career of helping others understand individual and group dynamics at work. While I continued in more typical areas of psychiatry, running locked adult inpatient units and eventually becoming chair of the Department of Psychiatry at the nation's oldest hospital, I also combined my mental health experience with business training and those eye-opening classroom discussions. I worked as a consultant assessing entrepreneurial teams for venture capital companies. While in this role, I helped investors make backing decisions by allowing them to better understand the people in the company they were about to invest in and how they function together. Ultimately, I offered investment advice that was based on understanding personalities and relationships. In the morning, I would see people suffering from schizophrenia, and in the afternoon, I would help instruct and manage business, financial, and employment decisions using the same, albeit adapted, skill set of observing, asking, and figuring out what makes people tick. I also developed a publicly offered professionalism program, and in that role, continue to help healthcare organizations create and maintain professional working environments. I began by consulting within my hospital system, but now see individual consultations from all over and make recommendations to others on how to set up similar programs. Much like my function in those early business school conversations, I analyze how workers can better function alongside one another. In efforts to preserve safe and satisfying workplace environments, I assess problematic situations and develop plans to improve their functioning. In these roles, I aim to figure...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?